Hey, it's Joel Mark Witt here with Antonia Dodge from Personality Hacker. We have some weird energy going on right now because we are physically tired because we just got off of 5 days of profiler training. And yet even as tired as I am, because it's physical, we're teaching all day, we're hanging out with students and we're doing really exciting things. I'm physically tired, but yet I'm energized. I have more energy at the end of the week of this experience than I had at the beginning of the week because it's so much engagement, so much fun, so much learning, calibration, and so much connection with our students. I feel amazing after the experience.
Yeah, I do too. And I think what is so rewarding about this experience is not only do we, get to do the thing we love to do, which is talk about type and help train our students to go through the profiling process, but we get to connect one-on-one with the people who come here. And it's actually pretty amazing, the community that ends up getting created. This little temporary community that feels like family by the time it ends. One thing I discovered this time around is when we talked to our students and asked, what incentivized you to take profiler training? They felt incomplete trying to learn this system on their own. And there was all these components, like a short list that emerged for why the profiler training experience really gives a feeling of completion to the learning process around all of this. The first challenge that a lot of students experience is that they have no one to talk to about what they're learning in their lives. So maybe you've had this experience. You get really excited by this information you're learning. Maybe you stumbled upon your best fit type. You can see all the different ways that you want to apply it in your life, or you can feel an instinct that this could be a game changer.
and then you get your roommates or your partner or somebody and you try to rope them in to all these conversations you want to have, right? And they're like, all right, I guess this is the thing you're into. And they humor you because they love you. But wouldn't it be cool to talk to people that really wanted to talk about this, that wanted to go really deep in the system?
That's right, because iron sharpens iron. And so as you're learning, one of the best ways to learn a system or to learn content is to be able to communicate about it. Hear yourself talking about it, hear your own language and words, and maybe even calibrate as you go or listen to the ideas of another individual. And if you have nobody in your life to talk to about this, it will make your experience feel incomplete. And so profiler training offered our students an opportunity to not just come around like-minded people, but people who are passionate about the same subject that they're passionate about. And so the conversations that happen in the hallways, before and after sessions, during the mixers, and all the other learning opportunities, that I think was a real game changer for a lot of people to really understand the system in true depth. Another challenge that students have before they come to the profiler training event is that they're not totally certain which information they should be trusting. There's a lot of people who talk about type in a lot of different platforms, and sometimes the information can almost contradict each other. And so what is the actual information? What are the actual accurate or precise definitions of maybe cognitive functions or how types show up? And what's fantastic about profiler training is that you're not just learning something cognitively and trying to make it line up, you're actually embodying the cognitive functions. You're in the experience and you're talking to people of a huge variety of personality types. And so it's not simply a matter of trying to make these pieces of information connect with each other. You get to engage and have a conversation with a person of that type, be in their energy, listen to their story, understand how they experience their lives and the lenses through which they see everything, while also going through different exercises that help you embody these cognitive functions. And so in embodiment, it's not simply a matter of making abstract connections, but making visceral connections, really understanding what it feels like to be in a certain function, or maybe not be able to access it at all because it's not one of your native functions. And so this idea of what information should I trust becomes real streamlined because you trust yourself and you trust the experience of talking to other people who have these functions themselves.
And in that same vein, we're also sourcing and consulting and coaching with some of the type professionals who have been in this space for decades. Dr. Dario Nardi is one of our colleagues. Often he'll show up at our live events and be part of our brain trust of creating content and some of the things we talk about as an example of one of the people we work with. We've also coached and worked with Dr. John Beebe. So we're really looking to go for tapping into the type professionals who have spent so much time with this material to ensure that we're highly calibrated, keeping the community highly calibrated with all the ethics and all the right ways to use this system in an ethical way going forward.
Yeah. And I think finally, there is a real challenge and struggle when you're trying to put a really complex system together in your mind without a methodology or a formula. You may be able to run into all sorts of pieces of information that give you insights and make connections. And also you might have a sense of being incomplete because you've really gotten a portion of it, like you've really got that part nailed down. Oh, but this part you're still struggling to understand, particularly if you're not wired with maybe a function you've been really trying to wrap your head around. And so what profiler training provides is for people who are very enthusiastic about learning the system, a methodology, a way to go through the material so that there's a cookie crumb trail. There's a process that you go through that helps you understand this information on a timeline that really makes it make sense. It layers the information on top of each other, ultimately culminating in this, after 6 months of virtual digital experience, culminating in this live event where you get all the things we already mentioned. You get community, you get to talk to like-minded individuals who are super into this, just like you're into it. You get to have conversations with people who can talk about how they're experiencing their functions, and you get to go through all of those embodiment exercises while at the same time learning the skill of profiling. When you learn the skill of profiling and you pick up all of these components of how to have a conversation with an individual to help them land on their best fit type, now you don't just have this experience, but then you get to take that experience out into the world and continue to hone the craft and learn more and more over time. And so it turns something that might be called piecemeal for a lot of people, just taking bits and pieces, into a full process that really helps a person have constructed ahas along the way. And at the end of all of this, you don't have to stop learning. In fact, you've built a skill that allows you to continue to learn and calibrate what you know over time. So for our students, one of the major incentives to come to profiler training was to take something they were already enthusiastic about, already super into and jazzed about, and then turn it into something that feels like a truly complete experience in learning this process.
So we want you to stay tuned because we're going to show you some other videos about what it's like at profiler training and give a glimpse into the experience the best way we can to show you. We're not just going to talk about it, we're going to show you in some other videos, so stay tuned.